we shall be able to touch. But let me just ask you, what's the state of affairs in Taraba since the governor, Governor Kefas, took over?
Well, thank you. You're right. There are a collection of things and a lot of things that we can talk about. I just pray we have all the time to talk about them. But the state of affairs now is that there's increased optimism.
Did it freeze? I think the thing froze. Mr. Bello? Yes. Uh-huh. Oh, you see. We'll be right back. In case you're just joining us, we're just about to start. You haven't missed much. Okay, I hear that you're coming back. Mr. Bello? Mr. Bello, I'm afraid, Mr. Bello, I'm afraid, you know, you were cut out, the transmission. So we hadn't heard all that you said in the past 30 seconds or so. So I was asking, you know, your assessment of the state of affairs in Taraba since the governor took over, as a general kind of a question before we start going into the specifics. So I think you were answering that question, but you were cut out. Would you, I hope you won't mind.
Yes, sorry about that. I was saying that our people have grown to, trust the governor to deliver on his campaign promise and the things he has set out to do. And there are many of those already. And what you're having now is, this increase in the, the desire in so many quarters to, key into the moving forward agenda of the governor, whether it's the area of solid minerals we're going to discuss up ahead, or in the very, very sensational free education, declaration that he made, or in his effort to ensure that we're able to tap into our agricultural potentials in the state, or even the partnership he seeks to, agenda between us and our partners around the world. These are the things that are really exciting the people. It makes them to have a lot of faith in the ability of Dr. Kefas to deliver. So if you're asking about the state of affairs, that is where we are. Our people, having come from, what clearly has been a very horrid past, are really, prepared and anticipatory, very hopeful. The moving forward agenda is going to restore those hopes and also put our state on the map. It is now, Kefas is getting a lot of accolades, a lot of applause for some of his groundbreaking efforts to rejuvenate the state, reinvigorate it, the civil force, and just about as much as work with every segment of the state to achieve some really great desired end.
Well, unfortunately, insecurity, I don't think there's any state in the country that doesn't have, that insecurity is not a sort of a frontline charge on. Just about everybody is. So I wanted to ask you, since the governor, since arriving, has been very particular about that, he has sought the collaboration of traditional rulers. He has asked the people to work and collaborate with the army. He himself, that is Dr. Kefas himself, being a former military officer, retired as a lieutenant colonel, it's his terrain. So, what would be an assessment of the state of it, of the state of insecurity? Shall I say, let me just say the state of security. Clearly, there's room for improvement. Talk about that a bit, please.
Yeah, you're absolutely right when you also say the state of insecurity. But yes, the governor sees security as an area that, he must just have to score excellently well there. That this is his, this way you can call him an expert, given his roles in the past. First, as a military man himself, an ex-serviceman, who rose up the ranks as a lieutenant, the army, and even while there, he was actually in the intelligence corps. So Governor Kefas actually prides himself as someone that should be able to at least, walk around that, because even long before he became governor, he has the young people and just about everyone to ensure that they is able to achieve some kind of peace, especially in this area that is the southern, persistent crisis where a thing associated with the area. As a private person, he has worked assiduously with both the official and unofficial, leadership in the state to deal with developing that area. And he's continued in that. One of the very first pronouncements he made is that, look, the duty of a governor of any state is to protect the lives and properties of the people. That's the first mandate.
Was it very bad before he assumed office? Or
well, like you said, no one is. I mean, the country itself is
exactly, yes.
But everyone, almost every aspect of our country is has this crisis of insulated or isolated from the rest of the country. We've had our own share of crisis. It's a human environment, and where you have human beings, even if it's just the two of them, you cannot take away crisis altogether.
Okay.
So, whether they are tribal crises, between the tribes, warring tribes, or even the one that everyone is familiar with, the incursion of banditry and terror into states. All that problem that normally actually snowball into even higher criminality. Those are the sort of things that we've been dealing with and grappling with as a state. And we share borders with neighboring one or two neighboring countries, and we were not insulated in any way. So it was in the midst of all of that Kefas came in, Governor Kefas came in, and beyond the fact that beyond his training in the military and the fact that he's good with intelligence gathering population, to see where we can broadcast some kind of understanding and nip some of these things in the bud. He's always told me that part of the ways to deal with security is actually work with the people, because the people. So partnering with the people, talking with them, having the kind of meetings he's having with the traditional leadership, like you noted earlier, and also providing the tools, the necessary tools needed by the law enforcers to be able to actually deal with this crisis, whether it's inner city crimes or the larger crisis of terror, or the ones that flow in from the borders, all sorts of crises. It takes more than funding, but he's not playing with that. He's throwing money at the problem, but he's also throwing intelligence, he's throwing partnership with everyone. We have what is called the Taraba Marshal now, a body that's set up to actually find way of working with the law enforcement to ensure that we have some modicum of stability in that direction.
Okay. Okay, not that I wanted to dwell unduly on security, but insecurity, but when the governor arrived, he had sort of served notice that all those kind of people should just move on. It's not going to be business as usual, as soon as they had come in. Shows the sort of seriousness of purpose that, look, in fact, I remember the way it was cast in the news at the time, repent or move on. So if you...
Exactly. Yes.
You recall?
Yeah, well, it's in the way that Dr. Kefas says some of these things. A little bit of, some clarity in the way he wants to do it. He, like you noted, he feels rightly challenged that, this is his area. Right. This is something he should be. He's done it in the past. He did it in the Niger Delta when he was able to be part and parcel of the amnesty movement between the militants and federal government way back. I mean, he was, most people will not know, but he was actually right in the middle, in the middle of those consultations and the peace that was brokered between the militants way back then, that actually helped in rejuvenating the oil revenue and all of that. If you remember clearly, the history of amnesty, he was part and parcel of it. Some people will even say probably the most central figure in that whole thing. So, and then of course, he's been to peacekeeping missions around the world. His training has sent him to those places.
Okay.
So this is his own place. This is his own area. He thinks that, I mean, beyond all the other things he's doing, he must be able to cut his state out, do some kind of groundbreaking work in the area of security.
I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but let me bring on our first caller. She's been waiting, as a matter of fact. Good morning to you, Ada, calling in from Jos.
Good morning. Ada, calling from Jos, Massachusetts. Good morning to Mr. Emmanuel Bello.
Good morning.
This issue of insecurity is not just about Taraba. For me, it should be addressed holistically. My suggestion is that President Tinubu should have the political will to ban open grazing nationwide and adopt ranching. Decentralize the police for effective community policing. This can be achieved by amending whatever is to be amended to pave way for state police. Its advantages outweigh its disadvantages. If we are able to strengthen our institutions, it will be effective. There will be effective monitoring, and that will take care of any abuse. All forests should become nationwide with the use of air surveillance, ground troops in conjunction with local hunters and any other established security outfits in each state.
Indeed.
They should neutralize these bandits occupying the forest. After each operation, heavily armed forest guards should be permanently stationed there to guard the forest. You know, so then another thing again is insecurity cannot be tackled by only the gun. This is the gun. It can be tackled from the socio-economic viewpoint. Address the issues of injustice and then food security, because a hungry man is an angry man and has no respect for law, authority, and humanity. Above all, fiscal federalism, otherwise known as restructuring, is the way to go. All the same, let's not give up on Nigeria. It shall be well.
Thank you very much, as always, Ada. In fact, you've managed to sort of give us the syllabus, so to speak, of what we shall be talking about, because there are other aspects to security, not just, the barrel of the gun, if necessary, if need be. And that's the kind of thing you've put it out there that the governor has been exploring multiple avenues, ranging from, especially enjoining the people to cooperate with the army, and also encouraging the traditional rulers, to be on board to this whole matter. But as Ada was saying, there are other aspects which sort of leads me to go into. I'm going to come to solid minerals, which is an important thing in Taraba. I'm going to come to that, but the whole matter of getting agriculture. A hungry man, as Ada said, is an angry man. What can you tell me about agriculture in Taraba? What's your main crop there, and how well is it doing, and what is it that is being done for the farmers of the land in Taraba?
Well, yes, you're right, and this speaks to the whole thing about food security, and the ability to feed your people well, and like I was saying, that as of nation, the people are hungry. They probably will not have any respect for law and order. Taraba State prides itself as the food basket of the country. Of course, there's a state that calls itself that, but we also pride ourselves as a state that is the center of food production and agriculture. So we have great, serious, big potential for rice production, for instance. We like to say that the rice in Taraba can feed the rest of this country. Whether you're talking about the potential or even the production itself. So those are the things. Taraba is one huge agricultural base, but you are right. Yeah, farmers need to be supported with all implements they need. And so when this governor came up, he went straight into a tractorization kind of policy. The idea of providing reasonable, affordable tractors to farmers. Hitherto is coming, not many farmers can boast that they can access what they call the government tractor hiring units. There weren't tractors there, so nobody was hiring anything. So, but what this governor has done is gone into partnership with a company that's ready to supply as many as up to 700, over 700 to 800 of those tractors. can be put to use so easily. As we speak, we're expecting the first batch to arrive. So, but beyond that, the governor continues to emphasize the need of access to fertilizer by farmers.
Exactly.
Because part of the crisis is that farmers will say, this fertilizer on the high side. But in Taraba State, we're beginning to subsidize that so that farmers will be able to, in a few days, for instance, there will be the truckloads of fertilizers will be here. And that, for us, we believe that will boost what's going on. But like Ada was saying, you need peace around the farms themselves for the farmers to be able to thrive.
That's right. For the farmers to even be able to access their farms.
Exactly.
But one moment, please. One moment, please. You continue because Aliyu in Yola has called in and I don't want to lose him. Good morning to you, Mr. Aliyu.
Oh, Mr. Yori, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your...
Yeah, Emmanuel Bello is a familiar name to us. He was been in Taraba state government from 1999 to date, I suppose. So he must be aware of all what is happening in Taraba state. However, Insecurity, Ada have said that we should ban open grazing all over Nigeria. I don't know if there is any difference between open grazing and open farming, crop farming. I don't know if there is any difference. Farms in Europe that they want to copy are enclosed farming, in fence. So crop farming should be not open farming. Cattle farming should be in ranch.
Exactly.
So this is the way to go.
Exactly.
We must understand the farmer and the header, they are all Nigerians with equal rights, with equal privileges. He's talking about fertilizer now. I don't know how much he has spent, or the government of Taraba State has spent on the pastoralists and the animal production in Taraba State. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He will tell us about it. He will tell us about it.
So insecurity is generated from not being fair to certain group of people, whether it is in Zamfara, whether it is in Taraba, whether it is anywhere in Benue or anywhere in Nigeria. All Nigerians should be treated equally with all sense of respect in their businesses and their rights as citizens. Then now is the best way to go. Anywhere injustice thrives, there will never be peace in that environment.
Okay.
So we should all acknowledge we are all Nigerians. We all practice what we practice, but we have equal rights as citizens.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aliyu, calling in from Yola. There was never any question about the point you make. Yeah, we are all Nigerians, whereas there are, cattle rearers, there are also farmers. And as you know, you just said it, everybody has a right, whatever your own occupation or profession is. So farmers don't want their crops destroyed, and I think that was where the whole matter of ranching comes in, so that both of them can, exist together. But we have Mr. Emmanuel Bello to talk to us about that. How much of a challenge is that? Because it has always been in certain areas. I don't know if how pronounced it is in Taraba. This whole matter about conflicts between cattle herders, rearers, those animal husbandry people and farmers, especially complaints in certain areas when you have open grazing. People, cattle trample. You know all about it. Is that something that is well in hand, or is that a work in progress?
Well, yeah. Thank you, Ali, for that call from Yola. But let me make a correction. I've not been around here since 1999. He's probably mistaking me for Chief Emmanuel Bello, who is my namesake in Adamawa State.
Okay.
Yes, I started my career in Taraba sometime 2010. And yes, we've done some things here. But the period and time I've spent here have actually helped me to understand some of these problems, firsthand, apart from the fact that I do my own job as a journalist too. So that way, I, of course, understand very well the crisis, the very big crisis of herders on one hand, and of course, farmers on the other hand. In Taraba, I think the experience so far over the years has been the fact, and it really interests you to know that we have one of the largest crop of cows in our state. if you're talking about herd, we really, the Mambila Plateau is arguably one area that has the largest number of the body of cows in the country. I mean, we can boast as we can make that boast as a state that has a lot of herders and a lot of cows, and so we grapple with this problem every time. And agriculture is encompassing, as Ali is saying. It's not just about farmers; it's also about pastoralists, it's about herders. And you have to, if you're catering for farmers and you're talking about fertilizers and the rest, you have to actually worry about cattle, what to do with them. Cattle is not that. That's why in Taraba State, for instance, we create a lot of cattle markets. We try to make cattle rearing and the farming around the issue of cattle very conducive. And he's right. The best practice all over the world, everybody has known, is ranching. When you ranch your cows and you stop them from foraging or taking those long trips, you have better yield from the cows. You have better stock. I think almost everybody is in agreement on that. And even countries where they have got larger number of cows than Nigeria, they've embraced ranching as a system. Just last week, 3 weeks ago, the state government, Taraba State government, and Benue State came together again. Such with leaders of Yeti Allah and other
okay, Mr. Bello, I'm going to have to take a break now, but please bear with us. We'll be right back, and you continue what you were saying, because it's an important subject. Because when you listen to the tone of Mr. Aliu calling in from Yola, it's very important to him. I'm sure he himself might be an investor in that area. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Dark marks, I've tried everything. Nivea Lumina 630 works from day one with visible results in just 2 weeks and 71% dark marks reduction in 12. Join the 1 million women already using Lumina 630 from Nivea.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
Taking you through as it happens.
it's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
With investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sports, entertainment, and business news, so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
Politics is defined as getting what, where, when, and how. But in the mix, many things come to play to shape the political fortune of any country.
Honorable Minister, how you misinform the public?
From the political actors to the electorate, campaign to voting, from debates to policy decisions, big events happen to engage us in constant conversation.
That's what we're looking for. Not some people who are talking about ethnicity. No.
Who is on your mind?
Don't worry.
Join me every day on Politics Tonight, where we dissect issues that shape our political destiny. Politics Tonight, weekdays on TVC News.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Okay, welcome back. And our guest is Mr. Emmanuel Bello. He's the Special Advisor, Media and Digital Communications to the Governor of Taraba State, Dr. Agbo Kefas. And so we were talking there, actually, this is important. Both the people, it was Ada first and then Aliu from Yola, spoken about this whole matter about insecurity and the role of agriculture. And, well, it seemed that Mr. Aliu in Yola was sort of very insistent that, look, cattle herders, you know, pastoralists, they have the right to their, you know, trade, their living. Well, that's what they do. Everybody is a citizen. Everybody has their rights. So how could you speak to that? And by the way, maybe you might sort of rub in what the 50 billion naira grant that was that the figure that everybody got? Would that be helpful in this? What would be the distribution of that allocation of funds?
No, I think if you're talking about the federal government palliative,
yes,
only 50 billion to states, it's 5 billion per state. I mean, that's what the federal government.
Okay, yeah.
But yes, you're right. You see, that's what we're discussing about the central problem of herders on one hand and, of course, farmers on the other hand. It's a very thorny one. But we can borrow from best practices around the world, where countries that have got even bigger number of cows than Nigeria, you know, and they've got farmers too. So what have they done? What has been done in those countries, and what are the best global practices? What I think the expert found that is that ranching is the best way to go about. When you ranch the cattle, they are better served. They have better yield. In fact, even their milk production tends to go up rather than having them crisscross the country in the way it's done.
Yeah, but sorry, but as you know, most of the traditionalists, you know, they sort of frown at the ranching option. Maybe not all of them, because, you know, there are some who have established their own ranches who could afford it, but perhaps those who can't. And so that has always been a source of conflict because, as you know, it's an age-old practice. So in terms of ranching, which you are just saying rightly, that is the way to go. Is work in that direction? What's the state of, what's the progress report on that? Or is it something that you are yet to sort of start? I think it has frozen again. Okay. Mazi Okoro, but even, Mazi, good morning, Mazi.
Good morning, I guess. Good morning, Your Excellency. First of all, congratulations, Your Excellency.
Well, actually, we have representing His Excellency Emmanuel Bello, who is the Special Advisor, Media and Digital Communications.
He will extend the greetings to His Excellency.
Okay.
Now, I want to find out from our guests. Now, I should tell at least the council to look into this issue. From Benue to Taraba State, there has been a very long time problem on that very route. There is need for the present government, as His Excellency we know is a retired colonel. Let him make
Lieutenant Colonel
wealth of experience as a retired military officer to bring a lasting solution. Because there are a lot of land on that route And the cultivation of that place is always very rich. If you see food from that place, you start wondering whether it's part of that. And most of the food around that, they don't even use fertilizer. It's natural vegetation. And this issue of this school exam fee of indigenous or the Taraba people, the government should try as much as possible, at least.
I know.
Pick up
You
that
bring in education matter.
Or jam. At least.
Between you and Ada.
They should try as much as possible and pay the examination body, because I've seen that states collect this is after the children writing the exam, they will not see their results. Education is one of the dividends of democracy. Because if you want a state to be vibrant, to move to business, at least don't play with education. And we are not talking about financial. Let's look at the angle of educational aspect of that. Most of these schools in Nigeria today, they don't. So the teachers are there, teaching aids are not there, benches and chairs are not very there. We should look into this. Let's look. Tackle education, at least tackle it spirit.
Okay.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's like, I'm going to let you, well, actually, we have to be careful because I want to manage time, because I still want to talk about, solid minerals in that area. And also, for instance, education has come up. It's what I wanted to speak about. Tell me what the government has been able to do in that area. In fact, the person who has just finished speaking and the very first caller, Ada, calling in from Jos, both of these people are educationists. So anyhow, it doesn't matter what your topic is, they will bring it around to education. So, and rightly so, because it's crucial. It's very, very important. So maybe you could just take that. I know it's become something of a mixture now, but surely you understand the concern of people for education, because it's going to help. It's part of development. Okay.
I've been getting a lot of interruptions. It's getting muted, and I get back again and all of that. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so I've been getting a lot of interruption. I have not finished my thoughts really on the...
Okay, look, I'll tell you what. Let me just let you finish your thought. I know, but you see, everybody is interested in Taraba. So, as you see, you start somewhere, somebody will call in.
They should be interested a lot in what's happening, because we are gradually becoming the flagship of good governance in the country. And Governor Kefas brings a lot of sort of star power to the kind of work he does here. Very attractive. I think a last call, let me finish my thought on the header. So, Taraba State, like most states with cows, we respect the rights of, of course, headers, and we seek to protect it. That's why just recently the governor had a meeting with his counterpart, Benue State, to look at how we're able to solve some of this problem. So we had in attendance, major Fulani leaders, owners of cattle. In Taraba, we should also know that we are actually a very multicultural kind of setting. It's not just the Fulani people in Taraba that have got cows. You've got indigenous people, indigenous Fulani, and other tribes too, who actually own cows, and then they've lived in this for many, many years. But this crisis of this, this migration of cows around is one that, of course, maybe we're part of a larger problem that we're seeking to find. But a lot of our people are ready to partner with government, especially with the issue of ranching. If you provide the right ranches and you provide a facility there, I can assure you that it's going to be a win-win on both sides. And so government in Taraba State, government is experimenting with that law.
Okay, but I didn't get an answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry. I didn't get an answer to sort of a progress report on whether ranching was going to be something that would be on offer in Taraba, whether it was a work in progress or actually it exists already. Well, okay, let me bring on Mr. George. You see, the internet connectivity, I think, is a sort of one kind.
Yes, connectivity, yes, but it's back now. I can hear you.
Okay. So I said I just wanted a quick answer to the state of affairs concerning ranching in Taraba, if at all that, is it a work in progress, or do you actually have ranches, or are you planning to establish ranches? Okay, let me bring on Mr. George. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for holding on. Please go ahead now.
Okay, good morning, Uncle Yori, and I also greet your guest.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, while I agree with the idea of grazing for the cattle rearers, the same thing cannot be applied to farming. The insecurity that has pervaded the country today started from the herders who are involved in rearing their cattle from place to place. That's what brought about the conflict with farmers when the cattle destroy the farms. So even economically, it is better to graze at one spot than to be going from spot to spot where there is no economic interest per se. But that same concept cannot be applied to farmers. The farmers, the rotational bush fallow system is what we practice in this part of the world because of the extent to which we have gone in technology. We are not high in technological development. The farmers farm from one place to the other because in farming, after a number of rounds of farming on a land, it becomes less fertile. Then they now move to another more fertile ground because they are not yet using the technology that makes the land to be continually fertile for growth. So you cannot, and farming does not produce insecurity per se. If you move from one place to another to farm, it does not pose insecurity to the environment or to people. So we cannot use the same concept of, okay, grazing for cattle rearers, then the farmers should also be confided. No, it doesn't apply. It doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that the insecurity aspect, which comes with grazing, is the reason why confinement to a particular environment should be encouraged.
All right. We're going to have to leave it there, Mr. George, because our time is fast running out. Thank you very much for calling in. Same to you, Mr. Emmanuel Bello, Special Advisor to the Governor on Media and Digital Communications. I'm going to sort of leave that for now. We could never be exhaustive about this whole, about world that you have to talk about. And I want to talk about solid minerals. I want you to talk to me about solid minerals. As you know, there's a renewed focus on solid minerals. We have a ministry for it now and a minister. Tell me about solid minerals. What are the solid minerals available in Taraba? Okay. It's still...
Hello?
Hello, did you hear me? Yeah. I wanted you to talk to us.
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, please. Talk to us about solid minerals in Taraba.
Oh, yes. There's a state that calls itself the home of solid minerals, but Taraba can actually appropriate that name, where the real home of solid minerals.
I see.
The latest finding being uranium, that was discovered in zinc local government.
Uranium?
Yes, uranium. Uranium, the solid mineral. And we've got everything here in Taraba. Taraba is a land that is practically flowing with gold, silver and gold, and all sorts of things. And we can actually do a lot on our IGR, on our internally generated revenues from solid minerals. So when this governor came up, the first thing he stopped was illegal mining. And there was an executive order stopping them. We're not stopping miners from coming to Taraba. We're just saying that we have to get it right. We have to stop the illegal activities of people cashing out on, and then the state getting nothing out of it, individuals. And those illegal mining actually also give right to other sort of criminality, around the country. So we're dealing with that right now. There's a task force set up headed by General Faransa, a retired general, and they're doing a lot of work, charging people to court and stopping a lot of those illegal mining activities. This is just to create the atmosphere ready for legal mining, such a way that everybody can benefit from the state can actually benefit from this.
So has it been cleaned up then? Has mining of these solid minerals, has it been cleaned up since there's a task force that has been set up particularly to prevent illegal mining?
Yeah, it's a work in progress, and I think by next week or so we should be able to have a holistic idea. But I can show you that a lot of work has been done in that direction. General Faransa and his team normally fan out into the very far nooks and crannies of where these illegal activities are going on. And a lot of arrests have been made. The atmosphere has been cleared. The governor has been meeting with people that are licensed miners and looking at those licenses, trying to upgrade them, trying to look at them so that everyone can benefit from the state. A state like Taraba has no need to actually depend too much on even external revenues. If we can tap into our agricultural, tourism, solid minerals potential, I can assure you that we can actually think or dream of a Taraba that is beyond oil, a Taraba that can look into its own, what it got, God-given potentials to actually raise the kind of funding that we need to take care of all our buyers.
Okay, let me squeeze in the appeal of the governor to indigents in the diaspora, for assistance. Talk to me about that scheme. How? What is the vision in that regard? Because the governor,
yes, the governor had a very elaborate meeting with Taraba, people living outside the state, especially in Abuja and Lagos, almost everywhere in the world. And he said, look, I'm doing a lot of good work back home. We're making the state safer. We are opening up the skies. We now have flights into our state almost on a regular basis. And he's saying that given all that he's doing, government is a partnership. Government is it's a collective effort. So he's asking expertise of Taraba that is outside the state to come in, to think of Taraba as a place where they can actually lend their expertise, whether it's in the area of exploration, whether it's in the area of just giving their own ideas on how they think things should be run. That he's open. He's open to their commitment. He's open to their partnership or to the need for them to actually come to assist or contribute their quota.
Indeed.
And that it is not a competition where some people think that, oh, well, look, my state now, the governor, I want to do it all. He's saying that, look, no. If you have anything, and it's bipartisan, it doesn't matter what party, it doesn't matter where you're from, it's open to partnership, to cooperation, to collectivity, and the kind of, unity of purpose, so that those of us back home here will not think that the people from outside don't care. And those of them outside there will not think that, well, the people back home don't really need us. They don't invite us. So he's providing the kind of the platform to say, look, if you have anything to offer, you don't really have any excuse. I'm ready. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to collective efforts so that we can bridge that divide. Because
it froze again, but we understand this is it's a connectivity issue. But if I can, if I can get you back, are you back, Mr. Bello? Not yet, because I was gonna.
Hello.
Hello. Yes. Very. You've come back now. I heard what you said about Tarabans in diaspora, and that is going to be apart from seeking investment generally. Yes, of course, the sons of Taraba will naturally be interested, but also apart from that, seeking investment opportunities, partnerships. I'm sure the governor is also working on that.
Sorry, what did you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was saying that foreign investments, I'm sure that is also something that's on your list as well, apart from the citizens, the diasporans. Apart from that, foreign investment probably is a matter of interest to you in Taraba as well.
Yes, a lot. And I don't think in the last years of my experience, there's been any governor that has partnered with countries. In less than 100 days, Governor Kefas has been to practically almost every other embassy you can find. China, Germany, the UK, the US, India. Yes, he's partnered, he's gone to those places, and he didn't just wait for them. He went to them and said, look, I need your buy-in, I need your partnership. And whether it's in agriculture, or in solid minerals, or in energy, because we're working a lot with trying to see other forms of energy, especially with the crisis of fuel and all of that.
So far, so good. At least you've given us a glimpse into what's going on in Taraba, and it's encouraging. And what we'll do is that we've run out of time now, but we shall certainly touch base to see the progress that has been made very, very shortly. But I want to thank you very much, Mr. Bello, Mr. Emmanuel Bello, Special Advisor, Media and Digital Communications to the Taraba State Governor, Dr. Agba Kefas. Thank you very much for your time this morning. And that brings us to the end of our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.
There's been a lot of interaction.
As entrepreneurs of a rising continent, there are barriers that hinder us in the pursuit of happiness. In the end, something always has to give. For a viable work environment coupled with the guaranteed power sources are some essentials needed to grow and sustain a business profitably. With the promise of delivering the right tools for business efficiency, Elite Solar Kiosk sets a new paradigm of business solutions. Elite Solar Smart Kiosk. Power to empower.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce